I'm actually going to record two ways, so let me one second. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for attending the third MSP Roundtable. And really excited everyone could be here. We've got a couple of people that are in here for the second time, which is really exciting. This is a new series, and we're hoping to make it a regular thing. And it looks like it's growing as we go. And so I wanted to start this out by doing kind of an around the horn, let everyone take a chance to introduce themselves, say who they're with. And then at the last 5 minutes, we're going to have a chance to go around the horn again. And anyone wants to plug anything they're doing, ask for assistance from the group, that'd be great. So I'll start out. I'm Tom Watson. I'm channel chief at TitanHQ. And I joined TitanHQ in May and having a great time here. This is a series we put together because I'm a former MSP owner. I believe it's important that MSP owners and employees have a place they can come together and just talk, and it's an open forum, open discussion. We have topics, but we're also open to hearing from the group in terms of wants, needs, asks, and kind of taking it from there. So I'll pass it to Treva, my co-host, and then we'll go around the horn to everyone else.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. So I'm Treva Stancard, and I work in marketing and events here at Titan. I've been in the company almost 2 years. So I look after all our B2B content, our webinars, our roundtables, all the back end stuff of that, and look after all our data sheets and blogs. And then I also look after our events with Tom. So looking after all the planning and organization and getting the team all to all the events in US and Europe. So also I'd say one thing I like to highlight is I'm very passionate about promoting women in tech. So hopefully we'll be doing a nice little women in tech meetup at the next IT Nation, I think IT Nation event in later this year. So yeah, that's me anyway.
Rich, you
Matt,
want
do you
to
want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, Rich Buckley with NDS. I'm in Connecticut. And Treva, my daughter works with me, so she's a woman in tech.
Love that.
I think we've been with Titan since the beginning of this year, although time does go by awful fast. But I think that's when we started. I'm an MSP owner. We still have break fix customers, but we've converted almost everyone over to the MSP model. Probably, we're not a big company here, but 15 maybe MSP customers. I guess that's it.
You want
Thanks,
to jump in?
Rich.
Jeremy?
Sure. Jeremy Barton, president with Nye Technology. We are an MSP provider as well. We've used the web filtering portion of Web Titan. I'm not sure how long. I would say 4 to 5 years, maybe. Currently have right around 80 to 85 managed services customers.
Great.
Nice.
Chad?
Chad Graham, River Strong. I'm the director of delivery. We're a startup, and we have in the ballpark of 40 MSP customers, and we bought a failing MSP company, so we inherited a bunch of legacy break fix customers, about 100 of them.
Excellent. Matthew?
Hey, my name's Matt Fox. I'm the creative director at Valiant Technology and MSP in New York City. I was just sitting here doing the math in my head. We're turning 20 in like 2 weeks. I didn't even realize it. So happy birthday, team. We've been around, like I said, for about 20 years. I handle mostly marketing, and I'm becoming tongue-tied at the moment. So I'm going to throw it back to you, Tom.
Okay. Jody?
How professional was that? That was beautiful.
Hi, Jody Lemry. I work at JP Merck. They are in the Boston area. I'm remote in North Carolina. I've been with them about 2.5 years as the operations manager, currently the operations manager. And we're pretty new partners with WebTitan, signed on a few months ago, and we're looking at some other stuff too as old contracts expire and replacing them with different products. So glad to be here.
Great, thank you. Michael? Good to have you
Hi,
back.
I'm Mike Leone. I am Director of Technology, and I'm also a partner in Grace Computers. We've been around since 1989. We still have break fix. We have about 3,500 break fix customers. We have a little over 300 managed services clients. And I designed my own cloud host. We also run about 5 different sites with a few hundred clients and probably a few thousand virtual machines in total, hosting all the service for our clients. We've been a Spam Titan customer since 2014. And I believe we have nearly 2,000 or just under 2,000, something like that, users on our Spam Titan cluster. And we just joined up for another 100 Safe Titan, but that's going slow. They're getting real finicky on buying training. But otherwise, yeah, we've been a long-time customer, and we've been a long-time MSP as well. We've been a full managed services swing for the past 8 years since I've been here.
Great. Excellent. And we have Michael Nelson.
Hey, Tom. Michael Nelson. I got a couple of companies. My MSP is out of Sacramento, California. We've been using WebTitan for a while now. About 3,000 endpoints, 100 MSP clients, pure MSP. The other company is scaled. We're doing staff augmentation. We've got techs out of South Africa that we're providing to MSPs, level 2 and level 3 techs that we provide to MSPs across the US and Canada.
Great, thank you. Alex?
Sorry about that. My name is Alexandra Putman. I owned and operated, I was president and CEO of an MSSP in the Hudson Valley, New York for about 24 years. Sold it last year to a private equity firm out of Manhattan. I got in late, I'm sorry, but I heard you talking about women in tech at the last part of when I got on. And I will say that at one point I did have 50% women employed. So they weren't all techs, but a number of them were. So I was proud of that. But unfortunately, when I sold it, I think I only had me and one other. So it does change. So at any rate, I sold the business, but have a lot of experience with the MSP world. And we had adopted Actifile as a product that we used early on back in 2019. And so I'm currently working now as a product advocate for them. So just helping their MSPs to grow and to be successful with it and to help them with the business strategies and everything. So I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Great, good, excellent information. We have someone from Encompass Technology, if you'd like to jump on.
Yeah, that's me. I don't know if you can see my
Yeah,
camera. I'm Lisa Gladstone, also women in tech. We're converting our clients over to MSPs. We still have some break fix as well. But yeah, glad to be on the call.
Excellent.
Good to
And
have you.
we have one more person who's on a phone.
My name is Caleb Willis. I work with Lisa Gladstone, who just spoke with Encompass Technology.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming. So excellent. I wanted to get that around the horn. That's great. And we'll come back through at the end, like I said, and anyone wants to plug what they're doing. We want to support businesses out there. This is great. As you can see, it's almost all people that work or own MSPs, which is excellent. That's the intention. Want to encourage anyone to invite people to come back. And so now we'll get on to the next part. And Treva and I go to a lot of shows. And I mean, I started at Titan in May. I went to my first show for the company was Kaseya Connect. And then I went to Build It, ChannelCon, Evolve, Robin Robbins, What else did I do? Channel Pro and DatoCon. I think I'm missing one, and that's only a couple months, and I've got like 8 more to go, or 9 more to go through the end of middle of November. So we see a lot of promotional items out there. I'm not going to call them the other word because Matthew might log off. But but as you can see, I mean, like the one I wanted to talk about first, I don't know if anyone has anything to show off, but I've got tons of this stuff. I actually load up bags of it, and I'd like to take it. I take it to the team in Shelton, Connecticut, our sales team, and I dumped like 3 bags full of it on the table, and they loved it because those guys don't go to shows. So I try to even distribute a little bit. But I wanted to talk specifically about shirts, and I know Matthew's got some observations. So I've got a few shirts on, as you probably can tell. So we're going to work our way through these real quick. And this first one is Audit. It's actually a really good company. I like what they do for MSPs, do a full audit. And my friend Mike works there. And Mike is on my hit list because he stole our bottle of whiskey at Robin Robbins and hid it. And that was a big deal because one of our SDRs had already lost a bottle of whiskey previously. And so he hit it, and our STR had almost a heart attack over it. But I've worn this in appreciation. I will say it's a bright red. That's nice. It's a decent quality. It's Gildan. But let's go ahead and see what I have on next. I got some interesting ones here. This next one, guys, I really like. I really like it because having something unique on there. What's up, breeches? Kind of fun, you know. What do you think, Matthew? Kind of cool to have like a little line like that on there.
Yeah, sure. What is that, a tri-blend shirt?
Yeah, I think it is. We'll see what it is. That's a good point too. I want to point out that.
Yeah, I mean, before you even mention what it is, I'm just going to throw out that I would have done 100% cotton with a discharge on there instead of regular ink, just to see what it is. Now tell me what it is.
It also was a little small on the logo. It's hard to tell what it was. It's Netshurian, which is, I think it's MDR. But yeah, this is next level, which it's a next level tri-blend, which is really nice. They're kind of a little more fitted, and they kind of hold their form a little better. A little bit of polyester in there. You know something more about them?
Yeah, they've got double stitching on the seams at the shoulder and the yoke, and that makes for a shirt that's going to hold its shape for a really long time. I'm curious to see what this Gradient shirt is made of, to be honest.
Gradient has great shirts. They got great bingo thing. Yeah. What were you saying, Triva?
Gradient always have great promotional items. Their color is always so fun.
Yeah, they do. And they have lots of colors. They attract attention. They use high quality. I've got that on. Let me see what else. All right. Oh, the Threat Locker shirts. They are next level, and I like the way they work. I use these as my warm-up shirts for working out.
I like Threat Locker shirts too. Yeah, they're very nice.
They're nice. We're gonna go to their event again, right? What is that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like the 1st and 2nd of February. We'll definitely be there.
What is that called? It was a really good. You say you
went Zero Trust World.
With this year, yeah. Excellent. So I got that one on. Okay. You know, I like ones. You saw the What's Up breeches. I like ones that are kind of catchy. So this one says, what's it? Talk data to me, Crush Bank. I like the guys from Crush Bank. So that's kind of fun. I like that one. And then I'll just run through these pretty quick. Oh, I've got so I worked for Ninja for a little over 2 years. So I got lots of their shirts. Ninja, great RMM product. Really like this shirt. Nice and simple. They there's something on the back too. No, yeah, they do. Ninja on the back. So I think it's good when you do shirts, do something on the front and the back. Good idea. I like this one, just a little logo up front and then the bigger logo on the back. Okay, this is getting interesting. Okay, this is not IT, but I had to wear this. My girlfriend, when I missed it, I was at ChannelCon, but Rage Against the Machine done as a Dare shirt. Any thoughts on that?
I can't say anything. I'm wearing a shirt for a band called United Nations with Paul McCartney on it.
Yeah.
I don't have much of a dog in this fight.
So I like this. I like the Rage shirt. And then got to finish it up. I've got the TitanHQ shirt on. So there we go. That's kind of my show and tell for swag items. The only thing I wanted to show you guys was this. We have these new, everyone here is eligible to get our gift box, as you probably saw in our email that went out, or if you saw our links. So you can get that. If you don't want the gift box and you want these instead, I will send you one of the, you can have 2 of these if you want this instead of the gift box. So these are tumblers. They are like the Yeti ones, only like 1/5 the cost to us. I couldn't spend like $35-40, but they are 20 ounces. And I got to tell you something. We had these at DattoCon last week. We had people coming from all over one of these things. They're really quality. So we can give you the gift box. If you don't want that, I'll ship out one of each color of these to you. So
I'll reach out to you all individually afterwards and get your addresses and figure out if you want the gift box or the cups.
the cups, yeah. So that's what I've got. That's my show and tell for it. I think Treva had a few things as well.
Yeah, so obviously my great show and tell is going to be branded. I'm obsessed with water bottles. I feel like it's like my favorite fashion accessory. Like you'll never see me with that water bottle in my hand. And I think I did a good job picking these ones out. But I actually, Tom's tumbler was actually a really good one as well. And do you know what I picked up? It's probably, I don't know if it's convenient for everyone, but I don't have a US plug for when I can ever come to the US. So I got one off Blackpoint there last week. And it's so handy because it saves me go out and buying one. So I have to shout out to them for that. And I got this as well. I can't remember the name of the company. It's one of the other vendors, but it's like a really cute stress ball. And it's
Is that from
soft and
Roost?
fluffy as well. It's the little owl. That's their logo. But I have that in my
They don't have their
desk when
name
I
on
get
it?
stressed. They don't have their name on it. There's a little.
Okay,
I want to say
commentary,
it's just
Matthew.
Ways Now or something like that, but I don't know if that's them.
I feel like if there's no identifying mark, then that piece of promotional material has
sorry.
just lost most of its worth.
Yeah, it's lost its worth, but I think it's devolutions.net. Sorry, my backdrop is probably distracting a little bit. Yeah, I thought that was a nice little one.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a notebook. So yeah, that's kind of our thing on it. I don't know if anyone wants to jump in there. I know Matthew has a lot of thoughts on this. He deals with a lot of this stuff.
Well,
he works at a large MSP and very into the apparel and other promotional items.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is something I love doing. You know, I've got an entire screen printing setup in my basement, and it's not a little one. I mean, my basement looks like a sweatshop. It's actually kind of scary when you go down there because this is what I love to do. And at Valiant, I get a chance to do all the, what, are you seeing the dog walk behind me or something?
No, the sweatshop thing. We're wondering who you have working down there.
Oh, it's just me, but I've got like a belt-fed gas burning oven to cure shirts and infrared curing units and all the other kinds of goody things, fun technology things that you would need. But at Valiant, it's nice that I don't have to actually do that by hand, and I get to work with a lot of really great companies. And one of my favorite things for the past year have been hats. Now, Tom, as long as you've known me, I've been wearing a hat. I don't think you've ever seen me with one without. And the president and I love hats, and we've always had like arguments. And I mean, like, yeah, we're talking about hats, but we have heated arguments over the style of hat. And I love the camp hats with the single panel in the front. And it took me about 1.5 years to get George to warm up to this guy. And it has become one of his favorite branded caps that we've ever had. The customers love them. They're whites. They stand out a little bit more against our color palette, and they're super lightweight. I mean, this thing gets wet, it's dry in 5 minutes, and it only costs a few bucks a hat. It's from Ogio too. It's a really great brand. And to make him happy, we also got more of the traditional flex fit hat, which I love. You know, these are pretty easy to negotiate down to a really good per unit cost, even at a quantity as low as like 24 for most companies. And I think my most favorite over the past few years, which isn't your everyday item, it's not going to be like a hat or a t-shirt or something, is, if I can reach it, the lovely Valiant North Face coats that we had produced a couple of years ago.
It's pretty nice.
And very simple, lightweight. I just dropped one of my earbuds, so I can't hear you. But you know, it's versatile. It's great for commuters. We're in the city. Everything's jam-packed. Everything's crowded. No one wants to be wearing these heavy coats or take the Tom approach and wear 32 t-shirts to keep warm in the winter. So the North Faces are great. They're great from weather that's a little cooler than it is in the Northeast right now, all the way down to, you know, like 22 degrees. And we give those to some of our favorite customers that we've had for a very long time. New hires love them. It's a great kind of first item to see when you sit down at a desk and say, you know, sure, you could have given me some pens and my business card and some other stuff, but you're giving me like a really great jacket to wear, something that I'm going to enjoy wearing and something that's going to represent the brand nicely. So that's a win-win, and why it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, great. I mean, one of the things I want to find out from everyone else here is I had this thing when I had my MSP, was I went to trade shows, I would take an extra suitcase and load it up with this stuff and bring it back for I found my technicians really like the stuff, and especially the shirts. Does anyone have any experience with that, or can share what they like to bring back, or what people in their office like, or what they like?
I can tell you some things that we did in my previous company that everybody loved.
Great.
So one of the things we did were coasters. There are leather coasters with, I don't know if you can see it, but our logo was engraved in them. So they were very classy, and we sent these out to all new clients as part of a welcoming gift. And you would see these on everybody's desks everywhere. And I know the pen thing is really cliche and everybody does pens, but our pens, I don't know how to do this so you see it, our pens were techie pens. So they have first of all, they're the bright orange color, and then they have these, can you see them? The black dots.
Mhm.
So they had these black rubber dots that are on them on two sides, and then our logo was also on them. They were so popular that the people at the chamber used them at all of their public events in public with everybody. And we had a bank client that the tellers loved them so much, they stocked our pens at the teller desks instead of the bank's pen, which was really kind of nice. Then we had other people promoting it. And then the other thing that people absolutely loved, and we still do, is a chapstick. So it was, again, our logo is orange, and we did an orange flavored chapstick, and it is really soft and really nice, and people are just always looking for this. So we did those water bottles like you did, Triva. Just don't ever leave them in your car in the winter, because I picked one up one day and the entire sleeve came up and there was just solid ice inside. It just broke.
Wow. That's crazy.
We also did hats, and the radio station people loved the hats. They wore it to all the public events. So it's really nice when people like it in the community and then they just start using it and wearing it out in the public.
Yeah, that's a good point. That if you have really good stuff, it can become a marketing tool. I imagine the pens at the bank might have even led to some business. People might have been called you as a result.
Yeah, it was huge because it would be reinforce any radio advertising that we did, and then the reputation that we had, and then they'd see the pen and they'd take it and give us a call. So
yeah, I've got a really great item I'd like to talk about real quick that was unique and threw a lot of our customers and prospects off a couple of years ago. We ended up getting branded power blockers. So let's say you're at the airport, you're in someone's car, you're by someone's computer and you need to charge your phone. You don't really want to connect your phone directly to a machine that you're not aware of how it's been managed, everything else, right? No one wants to do that. You get the power blocker, you put it between the charging source and your device, and it effectively terminates the pins for data transfer in a USB cable, allowing only power to go through. That was one that really got people asking questions. And it led to a lot of conversation around our cybersecurity services as well, because it was such like a practical little tangible item that you can hand someone and talk about. It wasn't the concept of concentric layers of security, or again, as warmth as Tom likes with his shirts. It was something they could really hold and understand how it worked, and honestly look at one end and look at the other and see the difference between the cabling, the wiring on it, and go, I get this. This is awesome. Let's talk about something else.
That's great.
That's really good.
So I've got two that we did. So one, we did this years ago, is we had mouse pads created with our support email and with the support telephone number. And just every time we onboarded a new partner, we'd take out and replace the mouse pads. The other thing that was super popular is eyeglass.
Ooh, yes.
That just people loved that. And this is super, super thick. We actually ran out, and I'm kind of bummed because obviously I wear glasses now. I got to figure out where I ordered them from, but that was really, really popular with people.
I'll sign up for a mailing list if you can get me some of those.
That's actually a really good one, because I picked up one of those last week at DattoCon, and I don't have it with me, but it's like that exact same. It's such high quality. It just cleans your glasses so well.
And it's funny on DattoCon, the t-shirts they handed out. So I grabbed t-shirts for workouts like Tom does. And the t-shirt was just so flimsy. And I was like, come on, people. Yeah, Matthew, I think you were talking about having the higher quality t-shirts that really does
a higher quality t-shirt, the right stitching, and quite frankly, the elimination of the term swag from our vocabularies, because it does mean cheap item that you can pretty much throw away. and replacing it with a piece of branded apparel or branded product is something that we as MSPs, whether owners or employees, can be much more proud to give to our prospects and other people that we're friendly with. You know, we don't go and get our friends like cheap gifts for birthdays. We get something that's got some meaning behind it, something that we're happy to give them. And I think that the same should apply when it comes to these types of items.
This isn't specifically mine, but I have a huge bunch of these. We did a thing called Channel Strong. And
Oh, the Bardisi glasses.
The nice big, they're nice big guys too.
Yeah.
And they're heavy duty. They're pretty expensive, but they were pretty good. You had to buy them. I think the minimum was 100 to get a good price, but you know, we went through them like hotcakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Very nice.
At two of the events I was at, there's one company, Glass Hive. I don't know if anyone has met them on the road yet, but they have these little packages of little brownies and little cakes. If you're ever at a show and they're there, you need to go check them out because they are delicious. They are so good. I don't think I've ever had like a conference snack like that. So nice because it just tastes so fresh, but they're lovely.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, some of the things I look for are, you mentioned, it sounds like quality shirts. I like that. I do like some of the little things you have on your desk. Let me see, I got one here. This is a Threat Locker one, little spinning thing. I like some of these things. And I've got an Auto Elevate. My friend Adam Slutskin's company, CyberFox, one of the products, Auto Elevate. The little guy, it's like a little robot. It's kind of fun. I keep some of those things around when I'm on really boring calls, you know, start messing around with them in the background. So some of those things. Oh, Black Point has, this is kind of one of the better like squeeze type things I've seen. It's kind of unique. It's in the shape of a shield, which is pretty good. We got to steal this. We could use this in TitanHQ. But, you know,
I have to
use the shield anyway.
I have to give Loki a shout out, Jody, because he's so cute, and the little Kaseo Dados. It's not like little, like a scarf.
I put the pictures in the chat for you guys. There were two vendors that had scarves, and my dog sported both of them at my service dog at DattoCon. He was he got one from Sophos and one from Datto Kaseo. So I put the pictures in the
so cute
guys.
Yeah.
So lovely.
But I agree with Tom about clever sayings. I saw something in Charlotte. This guy, he had a bright red t-shirt and the letters on it said, "Humans are overrated." And I passed him in the hallway. I was like, humans are overrated. But then I ran into them at DattoCon and I'm like, oh, I thought you'd have those shirts. I saw this shirt in Charlotte, but he gave me a hat with the same. It's
I love it.
So he's like, I only have white ones. We have white and black. There's only white ones left. I'm like, no, I want it just because it says humans are overrated.
Yeah, there's one I want to do. There's a shirt I saw with the guy at ChannelCon. It said, "My other computer is your computer," and so I want to do that and be like something like on the up front have it that on the back, but like don't be a victim, you know, and then have like something about TitanHQ or something like that. I thought that would be a really good shirt to put together. I think you got to kind of deal with the politics in companies when you start coming up with ones like that. I know I'm not just going to roll that out without approval from the top, because, you know, it's the kind of thing where someone's like, you made a shirt that says what? So that's like a, you know, an anti-hacker type shirt, but I thought that would be a clever thing to put on one of them. So hopefully if we get those going, I'll get those out at one of these shows.
Treva, let's talk about good pens.
Oh yes, pens is, yeah, as Alex was saying, a good pen, you just can't beat it.
Where is my you have one of the Titan pens? Yeah, these ones right here, the TitanHQ pen, very high quality.
Yes,
you didn't bring those to DattoCon. I was looking for them.
I didn't, and do you know what? I actually found a bag of pens in my suitcase when I got home. So they went for a trip to Washington D.C. and they came back.
Yeah. But we're gonna get these again. Right now we have some green pens. They're pretty good, but I will admit they're not as good as these.
Yeah, you always remember a high quality pen, that's for sure.
I don't think I've ever really worked with a pen that's come from a vendor like that. That would be terribly high quality. I'm a bit of a pen snob when it comes to that stuff. Tell me what makes them so attractive.
Jody will tell you how good our pens are.
Yeah, they're really well weighted. That's what I find. First of all, did you find that too? Yeah.
They're nice and heavy in your hand. The ink flows well. It's nice and dark. It's a a good, medium tip, it's nice.
Yeah.
Man,
I
I am a
work
pen
hard
snob.
for these. I feel bad now I
I-
didn't bring them or send them to you, Matt. Do you know what I'll
Either
do?
I write with Rotring or I don't write at all. Wow.
In the welcome boxes, I'll make sure the good pens are in there. Or not the welcome boxes, the boxes that you guys are getting. I'll make sure the good pens are in there.
All right, we're gonna
These
check
really
those
good
out.
mouse pads too. They came out pretty well, and they were pretty inexpensive for I think 500.
Yeah.
Bought 'em at 500. We have a very basic logo, but it's that's actually the whole point of our company is to
Michael, can you hold up a little more? We didn't quite see it. I don't think. There you
it's
Oh,
well,
it's the background.
go.
not my background. Hold on, let me
Oh,
turn
he's
this off.
it's the common weatherman's problem here.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'll mention that we had a mouse pad that was produced before I got here that I had as a customer, and it ended up all over YouTube once. It went viral. Oh, that's perfect. It's
Nice.
very,
That's
very
great.
straightforward.
It's
And you know
very,
what?
very straightforward.
Yeah.
Mouse pads are great because they're in front of you every single day.
That
Look, mouse pads, umbrellas.
and the multicolored one, once you used it for more than like a week, there was no logo left.
Yep. And
Um,
honestly, Post-its.
Yeah. Little carabiners too. We have a whole bunch of them.
Mm.
They're very useful just for connecting little thing. And again, very straightforward. They're all aluminum. They're not actual climbing carabiners, but they came in very, very handy for like little cheap trinkets you can get, single printing because it lowers the cost a bit. And you could buy them in 500 or 1,000 without breaking the bank. And we get them all from a company called Alpha Graphics, which is one of our clients. But they make them all for us, and then we can just hand them out. We just have bowls of them and literally stacks of these at our front door because we still allow walk-ins into our building.
Great. Yeah. And I think we've kind of that's great. Some great stuff. I'm sure we got some ideas about what we want and what to order. I will tell you, like, for example, just to close this out, I'm going to Channel Strong Tour next week in the Midwest, and I'm not taking a whole bunch of these. So I'm taking an extra suitcase, and we have these mood cups that I can stack, and I'm taking those, and I'm taking Post-it notes and a few of our beach balls because I can pack a lot of those in a small space. So something to consider. I think next I'm going to hand it off to Treva and kind of Matthew for the next topic. I found an article on Channel E2E, which is my go-to website and newsletter for channel news. And I thought it was interesting about sales myths. So maybe you two can kick it off and Treva can start. And Matthew had a lot of ideas, so I asked him to help out with it.
Yeah, so it's actually a great article. I don't know if you guys got a chance to go through it. But the article is called 5 Sales Myths Preventing You from Growing Your Business. So I think we'll go through each myth and see if you guys agree if it's true or false. So I'll kick off the first topic, and is cold calling is dead. What's your thoughts on that, Matt, with Kickstart Review?
I think that cold calling is dead depending on the market that you're targeting. It's going to be dependent on the types of prospects and the types of businesses that you're choosing to work with. At Valiant, we do a lot of things with PR and marketing and communications, and they tend to like to talk quick. No one wants to pick up the phone. That's more of a dance. Other businesses I've seen do really well with cold calling. There's a small MSP here in Long Island that thrives off of cold calling. So it really depends on the market that you're going for and the person who's doing the calling. What are they talking about? Are they talking about your business and all the great wizardry that you perform, or are they talking about the outcomes that you bring to a business to make things better for them? There's all these different variables that have to be aligned properly for cold calling to work for someone. We don't do it at all at Valiant, but the irony is that the only reason I knew the company existed back in 2009 was because the CEO did a cold walk-in to the magazine I worked at and was like, "Hey, you ever heard of an MSP before?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have. Get out of my office." But we had the same sneakers on. We had a great conversation. I became a customer for a couple of years, and a number of years after that became an employee at the place. So cold calling is a strange topic. I don't like it, but it also got to me to where I am right now at this moment. So I'm a little torn. Will I do it? No.
I think that's a great point. That reminds me of my MSP days when I would get a client in an office building where there were other businesses. I would first ask if that client, hey, do you have anyone else you can introduce me to, and maybe give me a warm invite or handoff. But even if they didn't, I would often walk to the ones that were in the immediate area, and I would have something with me, some type of flyer. I did a lot of law firms. I had a law firm specific one pager, and I would go and talk to the other ones and be like, hey, listen, I'm handling their IT over here. We're going to be in here a lot. Want to let you know, and you can certainly talk to them about the work we're doing. And I use that very effectively. That was, as you mentioned, that was like an in-person cold call. That's like old school sales, not by phone. But I'm very interested. Anyone in here that it works at an MSP, what your experience is with cold calls, either in person or on the phone, and the effectiveness of it.
Not really been one of our strategies, but we did have a few. I don't know if I'd call it a cold call. We called a vendor that was working with a client of ours, a software vendor. And I just called them up and asked to talk to the, lead developer or whatever. And now we handle their software development and we're their major cloud host. So we host their software, and I am their consultant that helps their lead developer do their next generation of application development, mean stacks and HTML5, all that stuff. And that was kind of a cold call where I just called up this company and said, hey, you're providing software for my client, which actually was a law firm. Because we do the Lackner software. It's Lackner, Lineberg, Claire, 6-in-1, Number Cruncher, stuff like that. And I just called them up and asked to talk to the lead developer, and that's where that came from. But as far as, getting direct, we did jump into that little thing where you would buy the list and, go to the Rotary Club and, buy the list and, go through and make the phone calls. That didn't yield as much as this local small newspaper, the Clipper magazines or whatever. We have one called Neighborhood or whatever in our area. That has gotten us more business, far and beyond our investment than anything else. And that has led to other things. And then, I think it's mostly our clients like that tell other clients, hey, we have this other client, or that we have another business we work with that is having a problem with IT. Can you give them a call? I don't know if that counts as a cold call, but
it's referral almost.
Yeah.
You know what? Business is business.
So Michael Nelson,
At
I'm
the end
very
of the day, if you
curious
have
about
something
your
to
experience
sell,
as well.
Yeah, if you have something to sell, I think that is like, even when people cold call me, I'm Director Tasha, I'm the first person they're going to call to sell a product, like say Titan or, Threat Locker or anything like that. If you have something to sell that is well priced and intriguing enough, not just you're the, or you can get your point across that this is something different than everybody else and convince me to, buy it, then I think you've gotten at least a chance to get a call or that second call, that Zoom meeting. But I think 99% of what I get are just like cold emails that just say, hey, they lay it out. Like, this is what we have. We know we've talked to you in the past or something, maybe 10 years ago, but here we are with, this is what we offer. And I've actually gotten products that way. I think Line Guard is a product we use that we got that way.
Excellent.
So actually, sorry, I don't know if I'm coming across anyone too soon, but that kind of brings us into our next one. We can go back to the first one, but the second one is email campaigns will sell for me. And this article says, this is enough to explain and sell what I offer. Prospects will reply if they need something. So kind of similar to what you're saying, Michael.
As long as it's not too spammy, because or too marketing-y, where someone's going to just throw it in their clutter box or whatever. I think where there's a sense of personalization where literally a human being sat down and typed it out.
Authentic.
If it says dear username, or if dear first name, last name, which I've actually gotten on the automated email, then it's like, okay, no, that's not. But when it says, hey, Mike, how you doing? And it calls me Mike instead of Michael, and, you know, has all this other stuff, then I go, okay, I'm actually going to read this more than 3 seconds.
That's actually funny because if they
I'm the opposite.
if they do Mike, we know that they don't know who I am because I never go by Mike.
Yeah.
For us, we are doing the cold calling, but we do it tied in with I've got a full-time sales guy. It's one of the pieces he does, but he also has emails. I think he's got about a dozen emails of being of service. So we never, it's like, hey, this is, you know, from so-and-so, we're an MSP, interested in talking to you about your IT. We believe in being of service to our partners. So I'm going to send you an email with some, you know, about this. And so we've got, I think 10 or 12 emails, and each one has something that's of value to them. And so that's how we do that. And what we're finding is he's getting callbacks after 6 to 12 months of doing this. You know, he'll do like 3 or 4 calls in the first month and then do them every couple of 2 to 4 weeks after that. But just having that consistency, and then he stays in touch, I think, quarterly after a while. And that's, so when they have that problem, they've got some of the emails from us. And the ones that are just pissing me off these days are the where they come back to you with a in the subject line.
They pretend
Artificial
they know
conversation.
Yeah, I immediately block those people from ever being able to send again. It's
So
bad.
annoying.
It's just dirty
Mi-
play.
Mi-
So if
Michael,
you're-
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt like that, but I think that if everything you said, the most important thing you said was consistency.
Yeah.
If you're consistently good, I'm going to pay attention. If you're consistently bad, it's going to be very easy to ignore you. I just want consistency.
Yeah, and you know, it also depends on the personality, but like you said, it depends so much on what the content is. So for me, for the most part, if I get a cold call, I get a cold email, I'm deleting it without ever reading it. Don't bother me, right? But if you combine all of these things, and you'll notice in that article, she doesn't really talk about cold calls. She talks about warm calls. And effectively, so if you're combining it with this email campaign, or you're combining it with something else, where you're consistently sending out a little bit of valuable information that just might trigger oh, that could be useful. I'm not dealing with it. I'm ignoring it. But like you said, then the consistency comes through. You've seen it a number of times. You've heard it a number of times. Now you have an issue. You remember that. You're going to remember it. Now, if you made a phone call after you've done some of that, or you've seen people open, follow links, trigger things because you're tracking those emails, now you know there's some established interest in it. That's not really a cold call. But, you know, it's part of what she says in that article too. It's not really a cold call.
I think there's a balance on aggressiveness with some of it too.
Yeah.
I at DattoCon, I actually went up to one of the vendors and said, take me off your list because you're emailing me every other day. You're way too aggressive. I don't know what's going on here. So yeah, I think there's a balance in there for, especially with the email communication, as far as I'm concerned, because like you said, if it's a cold email, I'm probably ignoring it anyways. But if you're super aggressive over it, then I'll build a new company to do your solution, to just not use your product. You know, there's too many choices out there, and I don't need somebody that's that desperate for my business.
One of my
if you're packaging that, kind of those regular emails into a campaign, maybe into like a newsletter, is there any type of like bi-weekly, monthly? Is it weekly? I mean, what do you think is too much if you're trying to create some consistency as far as like a newsletter with some of your, things you're selling or different information about the company, et cetera? So,
I would say
I think that
bi-weekly.
I would say you need a content calendar and a plan before you can start worrying about the mechanism by which you're sending out your content. There's no reason to have a weekly, a bi-weekly, a monthly newsletter if you don't have the content to support it. I see Michael Nelson nodding his head. It's the glasses, I can see it. But I think it's not to skirt around the question, but I think that that's really something that has to be figured out, at least at a notepad sketch level, before you can start talking about the cadence of communications, because there's no point in communicating what you don't have.
Because I guess at some point you could say, well, we're having to do it every week, so you almost feel like you have to do it. Maybe the content is not great, but you feel like you have to do it this week, and then if the content kind of loses quality, you lose interest because you lose sales. So it's probably a good way to start it, I guess.
I would always suggest having a content calendar run for like a quarter before you start doing email communications. Give yourself a bit of a hopper of content to work with. Find ways to determine what's evergreen and update that quarterly, and maybe get that out with updates to it. Find out what works now, what's works seasonally, and start assembling that into your into a plan. And if you're going to do something that's monthly for a newsletter, one of the easiest way I've found to come up with content is to theme it. It's the same thing we would do at a magazine. If we had 10 issues of a magazine a year, you know, each one would be like the fashion episode, you know, the issue, the food issue, whatever it is. There's no reason not to do a cybersecurity themed month in a newsletter after a month of really good cybersecurity themed content, and then move into something like collaboration. Maybe you come up with a dozen different topics that you could use over the year and figure out a way to order them in a way that lines up with different events that are going on that you could use and piggyback on, like Cybersecurity Awareness Month for one. And B, just make something that's fun, because once you start making content that's fun, you're going to make it more often, you're going to make it better, you're going to be more confident, and you're going to have practically an unlimited supply of ideas to go into the newsletters that we're talking about.
Yeah, Matthew's absolutely right. And one of the things we did is we actually were one of the larger sponsors at our local chamber, and they were very, very active and a very, very large chamber. So as part of our sponsorship, we actually wrote an article in their bottom line newspaper every time it went out. So we just basically created the content for that, and we were the ones authoring it. So that would catch people's attention. And again, it was just bringing awareness to who we were and the breadth of experience and expertise that we had. And then it became that we were the people that they turned to. So if you can get something like that in a community that's in the business community, then, you know, you've got the spot to be doing the writing every month or every week or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and
That's a great
right people
takeaway
find
there
these
for content. I'll just move on to the next one, just so we can fit them all in. So the next one we have is I can't sell successfully in Q4. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that we could all come up with an excuse as to why we couldn't sell something in a particular quarter. Oh, Q3, everyone's at the beach. Q2, everyone's working on their tan for the beach. Q1, everyone's upset because they just had the holidays and they don't want to go to the beach. There's always going to be a reason for it.
Money.
Of course, you can sell in Q4.
Actually, Q4 was our busiest time of the year, because as
budgets need to be used.
As the businesses start to meet with their accountants, and then they realize all these projects that they put off because they didn't have any money, they go, holy shit, we have more money than we thought. And now we want to spend it because we don't want to pay all the taxes on it. And we would literally get calls for people that wanted to do projects, and we had no time to do them. So I just started saying to people, well, we're happy to do it. You can give me a retainer if you want to spend the money in, you know, this year. You can pay me up front or pay me 3/4 of it, or you can do whatever you want, and we'll schedule it in for January or February.
Yeah,
That's the time when you just turn to someone and go, I like money. You know, it's one of those things. You can make it happen. I was talking with Tom and Triva recently about this, and I spent the first 7 years of my career working at a nonprofit organization. So when I hear someone say they can't spend in Q4, I think of all the times that we had large funders, sometimes tech companies, give us a budget. Let's say I've got, you know, so-and-so network equipment company gives me $8 million to use in the fiscal year, and I've got 1.2 and it's December. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend it. I'm going to find a way to spend that 1.2 mil, because that's the only way I'm going to secure that same number for the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying to go out here and start hunting down nonprofits for these kinds of things. All I'm saying is that, yes, I can't sell successfully in Q4 is a sales myth, and we can give dozens of examples why.
Michael
Myth
Nelson,
busted.
something on that? I see you nodded your head quite a few times.
Yeah, no, I mean, the same thing that Alex was saying. That's some of our best quarters. Everybody wants to, we do our best hardware, software sales in that quarter. And capping on what Matt said, nonprofits, we love nonprofits. Does not mean they are not a profitable partner. They're just a nonprofit tax status. But
you learn how to, you learn a little bit about FASB accounting, you learn restricted versus non-restricted funding, you have the right conversations and things happen.
Yeah, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, which is kind of the capital of nonprofits in the country. Because, you know, they're centered around government, and a lot of the funding comes from there. So I did a lot of nonprofits, and I had one called Association Management Group that had 23 nonprofits underneath them. And there were a lot of those in the DC area. I did really well with them. And I liked the nonprofits because they didn't often enter as many tickets as a lot of other businesses. So that was important to me. One of the things I did end of year that worked really well for me is I always kept my ear to the ground at these clients of who had a really good year. And I would come to them in December and be like, hey, listen, I'll give you a deal for next year. If you pay me up front, I'll give you a month for free. And I got a lot of takers on that, and would start out with a lot of revenue, coming in the beginning of the year that way. And it was very effective.
Well, I think that we can definitely confirm that this is a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so next one I have, lead generation and sales prospecting are the only ways to grow a business.
It's
And what-
another myth. Commerce has existed in human society well before lead generation and sales prospecting. Someone always had a bottle or a jar of meat to sell, or some wheat that wanted to, say, hey guys, this is the best wheat for bread. Come buy from me. I don't think they had too many lead generation and sales prospecting techniques back then. Of course, we are talking about 2022, and I do think that there are a lot of other options. I think that in an area, in a market like we work in, sometimes you do need to differentiate. And that's not just about, bringing attention to yourselves, but the way that you are having these sales conversations. Can I think of something off the top of my head after saying that whole spiel? Of course not. So hopefully someone else will, and I'll come back and think of something in like the next 30 seconds.
All our new business is word of mouth.
Yeah.
Happy clients, or somebody who worked at a company, liked what we did, and moved on to another
Yep.
position and said, hey, let's talk about getting this company under your umbrella.
We love when people quit and go
Those
to
are awesome.
businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, and your existing clients, I mean, there's always something else that they need, or sit down with them and talk to them about where are they taking their business? Are they developing a new arm? Are they thinking about something else? Maybe something's come to their attention that they didn't focus on before, or you bring it to their attention. So
I also think there's a lot of things that we can do with inbound strategies around marketing that are effective, that don't really necessarily fall under lead generation or sales prospecting. I mean, at Valiant, we do our live stream. We've had a lot of success with that. We once did a 30-minute stream on compliance, and it was really just an intro to compliance, a little bit about GRC, stuff like that. And we had I think it was like a 24, 26, somewhere around there, person PR company reach out because they saw the live stream. They loved listening to the way that we talk, the way we talk about the topics, the passion that we have for the work. And 2 weeks later, they were a customer that was being onboarded. And that just happened to be us talking about something that we care about. It didn't have a strategy behind it. And honestly, I mean, our live stream was a way to kill time during the beginning of the pandemic, and we've just continued with it. There isn't much of a strategy or anything behind it. It's just whatever we want to talk about. And people happen to find it, and it gets them really interested, and it gets the conversations that get the new business going.
I think that goes back to what we talked about, and to close things out, is that if you're going to do something and start something from a marketing or sales perspective, do it with consistency.
Follow it through. Be
Get
consistent.
that cadence going, and because it tends to pay off over time, especially like you said, you started during the pandemic, you still do it. It probably starts paying off even more the longer it's kind of embedded and it's a regular thing, because people see that regularity and that builds confidence in your credibility, and then they come to you. So we're going to close things out here. I want to go around the horn again. Anyone wants to plug, pitch something, talk about where they're going to be, whatever it is, feel free to go. Whoever wants to start. You got Chad,
I'll start.
or just Lex? Yeah.
So when I sold my business, I did start a new LLC, ARP Solutions LLC, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to earn a living. But I'm putting it out there because you never know. If you need help with something or you want to chat, I'm available. And in the meantime, I am working with Actifile, and it really is a one-of-a-kind data security monitoring, tells you what data is sensitive, does a risk calculation on it, and preemptively encrypts the data. So if there is a breach, then the data is useless to the threat attacker. So it's a phenomenal tool, especially if you want to include it in an overall assessment. Most people do not even have any clue what their data asset inventory is. And most MSPs will provide a hardware and a software asset inventory, but they don't provide a data asset inventory, let alone monitor the risk and then help protect it. So if that's something that you're all interested in, come let me know. And I'm happy to have discussions on just about any topic, because this is always interesting to me. So.
Yeah, I've actually seen the tool. I think it's great. I think it really has a place in a cybersecurity stack. it's a little bit different. I haven't seen anything else like it. So I'd encourage you to reach out to Alex and get a demo of it.
We're actually changing the model too, so that it actually could something that you could include in your base MSP package for just regular asset inventory and monitoring.
Yeah, good point. Chad, you got any for us?
Well, short of plugging our company, I enjoy the MSP peer groups and forums a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I never, even with my own team, I never think that I'm the smartest person in the room by any means. And I appreciate these community events because I learn a ton every time, and I look forward to meeting you all further in future endeavors.
Great. Michael Leone?
Well, I actually really like the little local things where, you know, like you have Channel Strong and they have it, but not like downtown Philadelphia. They might have it like in the suburb or whatever. I really like that where you can, you know, see and meet a lot of these companies. And Channel Strong goes up and around the US, so they stop at a bunch of different, it's like a big bus tour. It's run by a buddy of mine named George Bardisi. That's where I get all the BVoIP stuff from. But you know, that's where I met people like Threat Locker and stuff like that. Even Crewwho, where we started doing you know, employee monitoring and giving them gifts if they complete tickets in time. And I think that's a really great way to reach out. And I think that's where I'm going to start adding more marketing too. And even things like we have these county fairs and things, you can set up a tent. You'd be amazed. You set up a tent, and you say, are you still using free email for your business? You know, and do you have a security plan for your business? And you'll get a guy who's a farmer and he doesn't know what any of this is. And he goes, you know, I have to buy this insurance, this cybersecurity insurance, and it costs me $500 a month. Why is it so expensive? And he said, well, you get this, we could probably cut that in half. And he goes, oh, okay, great. You know, it's an amazing way to reach people.
Great, excellent. I know I'm very impressed with Michael Nelson's doing it scaled. I'm sure you want to talk about that a little bit.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, scaled and following up on Chad, Evolve HTG, that's been one of my best communities that I've ever belonged to. Scaled, we're offering, we've got level 2, level 3 native English speaking engineers out of South Africa. My MSP has been using South African talent for about 3.5 years. Amazing work ethic, speaks the Queen's English. They sound British or Australian, but we have some really amazing tech. So if you're having problems finding L2s or L3s, let me know.
Anyone else got anything to plug?
I can, I just want to say one thing. So I ended up here actually because of Tom and George Bardisi there. I came from large scale enterprise, a little mom pop computer company with 2 letters, and broke into the MSP world. And I mean, needed to find something out. And I actually watched a podcast or something online that Tom and George did, and then basically started cyber stalking you guys on LinkedIn, which has ultimately brought me here. So just a little bit of information.
Great. Well, anything else? We're going to close it out in an hour. And Michael, Matthew, did you have something?
No, I was going to ask if he was watching MSP Initiative, because both you and Bardisi were fantastic on it a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
exactly. And I was watching that, and then I got into that Channel Strong feed, and unfortunately, I couldn't make any of the dates when they're over here on the East Coast this year. But I'm tracking that as well.
Well, I think that's a great point to close things out. I'm on a lot of webinars and podcasts, and I do a lot of video, and I find it very effective for getting to point out and getting recognized, because then they can really put a face and a voice with you. When I'm out on the road, I have people yell at Wolverine all the time because I was Wolverine with Ninja last year. And people recognize me all the time, and they see these videos. It works very effectively. The last thing I want to plug, of course, is this MSP Roundtable. We'll do it next month around the 20th, whatever we can work in there with my schedule. And Treva's, and then we're looking for topics for next month. So if anyone has anything, feel free to email us and let us know. And Treva will be in touch with everyone about the what you want, either the gift box like pictured, or if you want 2 of these, I'll ship right. I have all of these in my shed, hundreds of them, and I'll ship them right out from here, 2 of them. I might even throw in some Post-it notes and some other items too. So you got a choice. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you all for taking part today. It's great to have you all here. We'll
Great.
see you
Thanks,
next
everyone.
time.
Have a good one,
Thank
everybody.
you. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.